Morning, the Pittsfield Fire Department responding to an early morning fire on 3rd Street from Saturday. Crews arriving to that scene at around 1 a.m. The Pittsfield Police Department was already there and in the process of evacuating residents. There was some heavy fire to the left side of the building, extending up into the attic space. It was then knocked down within an hour. Damage was confined to one side of the building. Electricity was shut off in that unit until repairs could be finished. No injuries have been reported, and that fire is now under investigation by the Pittsfield Fire Department.